Good morning, beloved ladies. I hope that you all find the time to listen to this video snippet, because there are some important qualities I wish to raise so that we can really move forward into the month of September, the month of the Virgin, the month of Virgo, with clear hearts, open and trusting minds, and bodies that are warm, peaceful, and accepting. So I'd like to address the reconfiguration of the temple based on 3, 13, and 33. Beloved ladies, I myself am sworn to the integrity of this temple and what it could represent. This is not some woman's club or circle of priestesses. I am committed to this serving Sophia and what that could mean in its longevity. I gave the notice that the temple was going to come into a new configuration. And that notice was 24 hours long. Anybody who is committed to the temple of Sophia would have come into connection with that notice and would have realized that in 24 hours' time there would be changes. The mind of that one would have understood that, and the psyche, the soul, would have understood that even greater still. And so within 24 hours the shift was made, and every single person who experienced the shift would have been informed and invited into a different, or rather the original way of relating. Myself, Morrigan, Michaela still extend our original way of relating before the temple, at the end of emails, at the end of Skypes. Warm, open hearts, inviting beings into gatherings just as before, nothing different. So the ones who are not in the temple have gone back to their original way of interrelating with us. There has also been talk of men entering the temple, so I will say it again, one last and final time. The temple that we experience on Facebook is a women-only space. The inner sanctum of the temple always has been, always will be, feminine. This is how I envisioned this. At a certain point, there will be a change in the outplay of this temple. What do I mean by that? I mean your own private gatherings whether this is something you experience with your beloved, or whether this is something that you extend out into your community. The temple, when it really starts to unpack its potential, is never going to be just for women. Sophia is the mother of everything. She would not include her male offspring. Men will be invited into my personal and private temple when I am facilitating temple space. Men, most of you have already told me, are invited into your private temple space when you are facilitating the Sacred Mother energies. If I am talking a strange and mystical language, I will try and say it at street level. When I hold space, whether it's a workshop, a weekend, or a retreat, in the very foreseeable and close future, this temple work will warmly invite the men to step in and receive. That is what I'm saying. It does not mean that within the 9 months of our duration together, that men will come into our private inner sanctum where we are revealing, unraveling, and going into the deep in the safety and trust of our feminine circle. No, they will not be coming into that. This is our inner sanctum. When and if we feel strong enough to open ourselves up to facilitate the Sacred Mother and her transmissions for all of creation, I myself say yes to the men. And it's completely your call where you feel called to serve. So let us drop this story. Let us drop the story of how the others were unfairly treated. Let us drop the story that men are going to come into the temple. And let us do what we must. And this absolutely and especially includes myself. We have to trust her. This is Sophia's temple. This is our Sacred Mother, who is the embodiment, when she's with us, as deeply felt and recognizable wisdom. She is here with us, revealing our own wisdom. If you need to understand how all of this works, then please read the Gnostic texts, the Pistis Sophia, any Gnostic understanding of Sophia. She is pure gnosis, which means direct knowing. If you ever need to cross-reference what I'm saying, speak to her. I believe you will feel her in your own body, responding with sensation, imagery, words, and knowing. Beloved ladies, I extend my hand to you and say, walk with me together through the month of September. I am sincerely sober when I say I believe things that we cannot possibly fathom could happen. I do not wish to be sensationalist or dramatic, but I am extending my hand. Beloved ladies, the next part of this video is about our own oaths. A promise is something that we just promise to ourselves. Very often gets broken, very often gets minimized and shape-shifted into something a little bit more allowing. A promise can be quite fickle. Whenever I hear the word vow, I feel that it's something that may be imposed upon me from the outside. Vow of celibacy, vow of poverty, a vow of charity. These are all very Christian vows, and maybe that's why. But it almost seems to me that the vow has already been determined by the establishment or the group, and one is expected to agree to the vows of that group. That is not where this is coming from. An oath is a self-authoritative invitation to stand for something that you know that you can stand for. It is a self-authoritative verbal utterance in the presence of an invoked holy deity. It is very sober, exceptionally mature, and invites us to go to the very depths of our existence and to drag up from the deep, like the Titanic itself, a noble and worthy cause. I believe we have already made oaths to the Holy Sophia, to the Magdalene, to this feminine lineage I have been speaking of. I'm going to be recording a ritual transmission for the 1st of September to bring us into the feeling communion of the dignity of these oaths, the inspiration of these oaths, the aspiration of these oaths. And then we have 3 days to unravel, to find, to feel into, to attune to rediscover these oaths. And then we are to utter them, to verbalize them, to invoke the Holy Sophia as witness. And we speak them to her. And we record. And we share our videos so that we can witness one another. The 1st is the new moon, which is the transmission, the ritual. On the 3rd of September, up until the 10th, we birth our oaths out through the 7 chakras and the 1 auric field. And we are open and available and allowing for other phenomena of a birthing nature to come through. Because the mystery of the Madonna belongs to the Madonna. I am not the one to say what shall happen between the 3rd and the 10th of September. But I am aware to be telling you about these oaths, and for you now to start feeling into. I believe, because my nature is sacred geometry, that each oath is embedded within the 7 chakras and the auric field, and like the strings of a kite, all of them are ground and anchored within the womb space. The process I'm going to take is to feel into my individual chakras and auric field, to feel for the particular quality of oath I have placed there. I haven't done this yet. I suspect they will have qualities of the 7 frequencies of the psychospiritual centers: root, sacral, navel, heart, throat, third eye, crown, auric field. Beloved ladies, on the 8th of September, we have the feast day of the Holy Sophia, the descent of the Holy Sophia. There shall be another ritual and transmission on that day. And of course the full moon's transmission, can't remember the date now, I've written it earlier, vertical alignment, a transmission to align our inner child with our human beingness, with our priestess, goddess essence. A matrimony of 3. Then we have the autumn equinox, a balance point, an equilibrium, harmony between all seeming opposites. Finally, beloved ladies, I have been on this path long enough to know there is never a time when you know accurately, precisely what is going on. I am in a constant state of trust. Trust in Sophia. Trust in myself. Trust in the wisdom that comes. Trust in the process. Trust in you. And trust in the birth of this temple. This is what makes good and worthy initiations. An initiation has to be a leap of faith for it to be completely real. It has to take us to our known edge and beyond. Otherwise, you're just playing at it. Beloved ladies, I sincerely say to you, all is well. All is just. And all is exactly as it should be. We are in a a configuration now that will make sense very soon. And we will all come to see how the exact right souls are here in this moment, in this age, in this time, in this way. Doubt kills all alchemy. Confusion and doubt is a spoiler of the mystical. I'm not saying get rid of your confusion and doubt, because that would be suppression. I am saying, if you must, voice it now, before the 1st of September. Before you do that, feel into, with the Holy Sophia, with your own wisdom, is this real? Is this true? Or is this a story? The next piece of work is obviously the mystery of the Sophia, where I will start to bring in radical self-inquiry questions. Because, beloved ladies, it is now time to start living up to the priestess codes that we are carrying. The human being will be invited to allow the refinement process. September is the month where we really get everything into its right place. And that reminds me, one last thing. If you could hold a vigil for the whole month of September, every morning and every evening, lighting a candle, and this can be a simple tea light, or for the abundant ones amongst us, maybe you will get some big church candles that simply will burn day and night in a safe way, obviously. And if you could say something along the lines of for that which has been hidden, now is the time to be revealed again. This powerful sentence will have the invocation that is needed for your revealing, for the temple's revealing, for life all around you, and for something that could be happening here in the south of France at this time. For that which has been hidden, now is the time to be revealed again. So, beloved ladies, let us use these last days of August to see where we may be siding with confusion, doubt, distrust, and division. And when we see those qualities, ask, is this really real? Is this something I wish to be serving my energy with? And then I open a gorgeously warm, safe space for any last doubts and contractions to come to the temple. there will be no answer to your offering. There will simply be a spacious awareness to see what happens next. And finally, on a personal note, I am moving through so many physical fears. I am climbing, descending down potholes, going through bracken, sleeping outside, going into darkened caves by myself and with Pete. I am facing every physical fear you can imagine, in connection with caves, heights, scary bridges, cliff edges. You can imagine what I mean by all of that. Oh, because I'm going to be doing a lot of that in September. And I can see, again, in hindsight, I can see how Sophia is using this time for me to work on physical fears, physical safety, fear of death, obviously, fear of pain, fear of being trapped, fear of dying slowly, you name it, is coming up. So I may not be looking for doubt and confusion in the psyche, but God knows I'm being confronted with it every day in connection with the body. I may have to do some really daft things in September of a physical nature on behalf of the temple. And I know if I do anything already carrying fear, distrust, terror, anxiety, as I do what I may have to do in September, I will, in a very subtle way, have already corrupted the innocence and the cleanliness of this next step. I'm aware of this, and I'm using these days in August to really come to terms with easing this physical fear and to trust in the elements and the invisible powers that hold this physical world together, to trust in them. I trust in them when I'm on the ground. Why do I start distrusting them when I'm up high? That's my work. Beloved ladies, it's an honor and a privilege to be with you at this time. I'll send another video in the coming days as I too start to work now on feeling into the oaths, and even as I imagine that, I also get nervous because I sense the enormity of speaking them out loud to her, Sophia, and to you as holy witnesses. This is not a small task, and I am in here, alongside you, as always. See you real soon, beloved ladies. I know I'm going to see a couple of you next month for Sacred Body Awakening. And in Canada and the States during the fall. All is is well. All is well.